This year marks the 40th anniversary of the movie Labyrinth. Yay! Do you remember the movie Labyrinth? Yeah? Well, I wasn't a fan of the movie initially. My sister was a huge fan. Being in the same household as her, I was sort of forced to watch the movie almost every single day for many years. I would estimate that I've watched the movie somewhere between 400 to 600 times over the past 40 years. I'm so familiar with the movie that I know the dialogue, and if I just close my eyes, I can visualize every single scene. I generally actually have a good memory, but in this case, it's just so embedded in my mind. Oh, if you ask me a certain part after a certain period of time, I can pinpoint exactly how many minutes from the beginning of the movie to the part that you are referring to comes on. That's how familiar I am with the movie. Anyway, coming back to movies, we can learn a lot about movies. There are lots of life lessons that are sometimes explicitly showcased and sometimes they are hidden in scenes, in conversations, in actions. When I was growing up, I was just interested in the puppets. I was fascinated by how Jim Henson was able to come up with different characters and how the puppeteers were able to manipulate the different puppets in different scenes. I was always wondering, hey, how was he able to make the puppets without the heads move? Because I always have it in my mind that if you have a puppet, you're gonna have to manually maneuver it with your hands. So when you have your hands sticking in the puppets without the heads, your hands will be visible. But then I was fascinated. Wow! Puppets can be controlled in other ways, not just using your hands and sticking your hands inside of the foam, but you can use controllers, you can use a combination of different camera angles and tricks. So I was very fascinated. My sister loved the storyline and of course the characters as well. But after watching it recently, being a therapist, I realized that there are really cool lessons that we can learn. These days, when you are conducting therapy programs for so many years, when you watch a movie, you automatically start thinking, hey, is there life lessons that I can pick up and come up with some ideas on how I can use this for subsequent therapy sessions, workshops. So when I was watching Labyrinth recently, my mind started going into therapy mode. What are some life lessons? So here are three. There are plenty of life lessons in Labyrinth, but I would like to highlight three for this video. The first one, my area of specialty, when we are stressed and frustrated, we say and do things that we will regret later most of the time because our logical brain is offline and we are thinking with our feeling brain and we are just overreacting instead of pausing and responding more appropriately. Remember the part where Sarah could not take it anymore. She was looking after her little baby brother, Toby. and she could not take his crying. And she said it out loud. Goblin King, wherever you may be, take this child to my far away from me. And the goblin reacted, what kind of rubbish is that? It doesn't even stop if I wish. Right? And then she paused, but the pausing duration was not sufficient enough for her to calm down. Put Toby back in his crib, started walking out, he started crying again, and she lost it again. This time she said the right words. I wish the goblins would come and take you away right now. And Toby was taken by Jareth, the Goblin King, played by David Bowie. You remember David Bowie? Yeah? Well, you see, that's the first lesson. You sometimes think that you have things under control, but you might not. Take note of things that you feel in your body. If you feel the blood starting to boil, your tummy starting to rumble, you have not fully gotten rid of your stress and anxiety. That's what happened to Sarah. She lashed out. Second lesson, things are not always what they seem. Remember when Sarah was on the path towards the castle, the center of the labyrinth? Yes, when she first entered the labyrinth itself, it was just one pathway with no openings whatsoever. And then she encountered the little cute worm who invited her for tea. That's right, you remember that part? Hey little worm, come inside and have a nice cup of tea. Come inside and meet the missus. Remember that? Sarah expressed her frustration about the labyrinth. What do they mean by labyrinth? There's no openings whatsoever. It just goes on and on. The worm told her this. There's full of openings. You're just not seeing them. You see, sometimes we are so caught up with our one-track mindedness that we don't really stop and think there might be something that we are missing out on. For example, let's say if you have a plan on running a business, or you have a plan of studying, you have all your plan out. Okay, let's say if you are running a business, okay, I'm going to employ one person to help me out with the administrative stuff. I'm going to print out flyers. I'm going to do this and that. But then through your excitement and through your focusing on plans, you simply might forget the finances. You might forget the time needed to do all these things that you're jotting out. So sometimes things might not always what they seem to be like at first glance. Take some time, really look at the entire full picture, take a step back, and you will get a better and clearer understanding of the entire matter. Of course, we know what happened in the movie. The labyrinth is full of openings. Just walk through the walls, right? Okay, the third lesson is good always triumph over evil, no matter what. Jareth tried all sorts of tricks to put Sarah off. Remember when he forwarded the time, the clock, and instead of 13 hours, he forwarded it, and he forced Hoggle to give Sarah a poisoned apple that made her lose her memory. And of course, there were other characters that stood in her way. The bulb of eternal stench. There was the Cleaner. I hope I pronounced it correctly. This couple of puppets that were cycling with thorns. Not really thorns, but sharp, cylindrical spikes. Yeah? So, no matter what he did, Sarah was determined to get Toby back safely home. And she did it. She faced him one-on-one. Despite her friends, Ludo, Sir Didymus, Ambrosia, Hoggle, all offering their help. She stood firm and told them that this is something she needed to face alone, and she did it. Actually, I didn't really enjoy the climax of this. It was somewhat of an anti-climax. Being a guy, I wanted to see some action, some fight. But it turned out to be more of a thinking kind of battle rather than a physical battle. I remember the words. Do you remember the words that Sarah said that destroy the Goblin King? What was it? That's right. You have no power over me. That's it. And she got Toby back. So remember, the next time round when you watch the movie, enjoy the storyline, enjoy the wonderful songs, the anime, the puppetry, the artistry, but also keep in mind some of the things that we can learn, because these are things we can apply to our own lives when we face challenges. I hope you enjoy the movie if you're going to watch it. Share this with someone who you feel might need to listen to this. Thank you very much for watching. See you next time. Enjoy.
Ever get so mad you say something you instantly regret? A hot temper creates a messy tornado you didn't mean to start. Getting angry doesn't hurt others, it builds a cage around you. Think before you react, or you'll trap yourself. Things aren't always what they seem. When you're stuck, look again. There might be an opening you never noticed. Sometimes the path isn't over the wall, but underneath it. Stay open-minded, and you'll always find a way through. Evil will try to distract you with shiny tricks. But you are smart. Don't let anyone make you forget who you are. In the end, good always wins. Stay calm, stay aware, and you'll win the day, every single time.